And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate. We love to help you win in any marketplace. That's always our goal. And we'd love for you to save our hotline number in your phone at some point. You may need it. 813-750-0550.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
You can reach us on the hotline anytime. It's an off-air number as well, 813-750-0550. Call or text that line, and we're going to put you in touch with the absolute best here in Tampa Bay, local area business owners and representatives. And we all have that common purpose of serving as a consumer advocate. So we want to introduce you to our attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, business coaches, credit experts, all types of great home service experts here in the Tampa Bay market. Reach out to the hotline. Also, hit the website up at consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you on our website at consumerqb.com. And we got a great lineup for you today here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Before we jump into that, I want to let you know about a couple of hot listings that we've got, compliments of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, 5402 U.S. Highway 92. We got a bar for sale, y'all. If you check out this bar, it's out in Plant City, and this is the Finish Line Saloon. Cash cow, about $10,000 to $12,000 or $12,000 to $15,000 in income coming in every week. Cash cow available. The owner's just kind of aging out, ready to retire. So if you ever thought about owning your own bar, this is a great opportunity. 5402 U.S. Highway 92 out in Plant City, the Finish Lines Saloon corner lot. Great location, beautiful property, very well maintained right here. And it's a cash cow right here in Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
And we also want to give a shout out to Replenish IV Solutions. I just came from visiting the Gandy location of Replenish IV Solutions. I got a nurse, there was a nurse there, hooked me up, of course, to the vitamin infusion drip. And it seems like everybody wants to feel energized, hydrated, and replenished. Excuse me, got something there in my throat. So we have a safe and effective way to restore your body's systems and crucial vitamins and nutrients, enabling them to perform at optimal conditions. Reach out to our friends Stephen and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, let's make our introductions. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Welcome back, sir.
Well, thank you. I really miss coming into the studio, but that's it. That's in the future. I'm coming back. How you guys doing over there?
Coming back soon. The 10-man. The
10-man is here. Yeah. One thing I always fail to mention, I'm going to mention it now. We do offer discounts for first responders, military, veterans, anybody in the medical industry. I wanted to get that in before I forgot about it.
Yeah, hey, that's awesome, man. We love that. And our company does that as well, and our mortgage lender, a lot of our expert contributors do as well. So veterans, first responders, military, first responders, you've got the nurses and sometimes even teachers as well as lumped into that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Very cool. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, our contractor expert on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, we got the credit magician back, William Crowley.
Uh-oh. Yeah, okay. Hey, what's going on? Listen, I want to mention this, too, that we offer those same discounts, except if the teachers don't go back to work in some of the states, we're not going to offer those discounts. So only the states that when the teachers are working is what we're going to offer.
There you go. I like that. Hey, if you don't work, you don't get the discount from William Crowley, the credit man. I like that.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, how it can really help you as opposed to all these alternative solutions like the CFPB and the public credit reporting agencies under the Biden administration. All this stuff is just a smoke screen. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act is there. So they have been there since the 70s, and they will help you if we just do what they say to do. So that's what I want to talk about today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to ask you as well about the new credit scoring program proposed by the Biden administration. Seems like some really interesting, to say the least, shenanigans there. But I'm very excited to introduce as well one of our newer expert contributors, Sam McKeown. Welcome back, sir.
It is good to be here, Brandon. It's been a while. I get lost still in Tampa. I've only been here 4 years, and I still get lost coming down here. Thank God for Google Maps. But yeah, it's a real joy to be here. I picked out 7 items that people think about too late.
Oh, I like that. Nice little teaser. There's 7 items people think about too late.
Too late.
All right, the good stuff. And the Alive and at Peace coaching, executive coach, speaker, and trainer, Sam McKeown here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I love having those conversations, helping business owners, helping people live a better life, and that's right up our alley here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So, let's jump right into it then. I want to go to Fred. So, Fred, we're kind of kicking around an idea because a lot of our contractors, when we're talking to contractors and builders out there, different types of tradesmen, it's the constant theme that I'm hearing is, man, we would love to grow, we want to grow, but we're having trouble finding good help. So we're kicking around the idea of hosting the Consumer Quarterback Show's job fair. So something like a career fair, job fair, bring in our expert contributors, our business owners, and then also invite some of the general public, of course, people that are looking for a job. So hopefully we can do some matchmaking there. What do you think about that idea?
Well, I think it's a great idea, and I like the fact that your thinking goes in that type of direction all the time, Brandon. Man, your wheels are always turning. I like that. My suggestion is for everybody that moves down from the Northeast, make sure they bring at least 1 or 2 tradesmen with them. Please, we need you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, people moving from all across the country, and there's so much demand here. And, everything from transportations to roads, highways, infrastructure, and, of course, people looking to put on these beautiful screen rooms that you offer from Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
Oh, yeah. And the majority of the leads that we're getting right now are from the Northeast. People coming down from the Northeast, they're taxed to death up there, and, of course, terrible weather. So, I don't know how familiar you are with that area, but it is horrendous when it comes to taxation. So people coming down here, they're getting 5 times the square footage than they are in the New York area. So, and they're paying less than 20% of their taxes. So they're just coming in droves. If you take a ride up into Pasco County is basically, I use the term on fire. Because you really can't build out much more down here in Hillsborough unless you keep going south. But if you keep going north, it's constant. There's new subdivisions all the time. And I think every time they put up a new subdivision, I swear, the construction and the architecture of the properties and the homes is improving on every subdivision. It's just amazing. Some of the beautiful homes up in that Pasco area.
Yeah, I love that. I'm glad you said that because sometimes the builders they don't put as much in. Some of the row builders, that is, that you see that in the past, but and then that's when we had the Chinese drywall come in and some of that different subpar materials and then building constructs. But you're saying it's going the other way this time.
I believe it is, and please don't mention Chinese drywall around me. I was a victim at one time. I haven't eaten egg rolls since, and I really miss them. However, the construction is definitely improving. What I've seen in this industry, and in some cases, you can even make a statement that the screen enclosures may be a little bit overbuilt in today's world. They're extremely strong, very strong. Our statement is when people say, "Hey, how's it going to do in a hurricane?" We respond, "The house roof is probably going to go away before the cage," and that's typically a true statement because the cages can withstand it. Even though they're built to 145 or 155, depending on location, that's wind load. A house roof is subject to more load consistently as opposed to the screen enclosure, because the screen enclosure, when the fabric blows out, it's nothing but an aluminum skeleton that can take more wind. So we see that. They're very strong, extremely strong. And people come from the Northeast, they're not clear on the strength of these and the ability of what they can handle in wind loads. I told one guy, we have to put a footer in. He goes, "Footer? What are you doing with a footer?" He was from New York. I like the way he talked. Yeah. And I said, "Sir, I'm not trying to keep it up. I'm trying to keep it down in a windstorm." He goes, "Oh, I understand, It's comical, but it's all part of the enjoyment of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoying the business, and no matter what business you're in the people business, right, Fred?
Yeah, and the leads come at me, and you know me. I like to talk, and leads come at me. I call people constantly when driving down the road. I'm on the phone with the leads. The leads are coming through by email, and I just pull them up real quick. Glance down, get the number, make the phone call. But that's the thing in this business. As busy as you are, you have to return the calls. You have to at least make the effort to contact the customer one way or another. Even if you can't build the thing for 4 or 5 or 6 months, you at least make the contact. Yeah. Very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you just joined us, we're talking with Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, longtime friend of the program, one of our longest-running expert contributors on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And one of the things that we've talked about in the past as well that it seems to be a recurring theme is, with this growth, with the expansion, is the government bodies, the municipalities seem to be, kind of somewhat overwhelmed in certain capacities. Talk to us about permitting and timeframes.
Timeframes are pretty bad right now. Permits, it's fair to say to anybody who wants to sign a contract that it's approximately 8 to 12 weeks to get a permit for the screen enclosure, because it has a different process. And like if you talk to Chuck Peterson, our roofer, he'll tell you can get a permit much faster because it doesn't have to go through the zoning process as ours does. And, most of your homes that are being built, they go through the same zoning that the screen enclosure, screen room goes through. So the process to permit a brand new home typically gets put on the front burner as opposed to a screen enclosure in the building department. So we're typically 8 to 12 weeks to get the permits going, and 8 to 12 weeks that would entail also the required signed sealed engineering. You have to have everything signed and sealed by a structural engineer today. So the process is what it is. Now we get the permit, let's say 3 months later, and let's assume that the customer wants an insulated composite roof. Well, what we're running into now with composite roofs is a significant back order of material. That product is in such high demand, and they just can't seem to produce the product as quick as the demand calls for. So the last one that I experienced, there was a 6-week back order on the panel, the composite panel. So after they waited their 3 months, now they have to wait another 6 weeks to get the panel in, and then we have to schedule the build. And most people are understanding that, and I appreciate those that do understand that. So typically what we're selling now is going to be installed in most cases in the summer or even in some cases the beginning of the fall based on this time frame.
Yeah, timing and cost of materials also increasing. More from Fred Muth here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Tampa Screens and Aluminum. William Crowley coming up as well, our credit expert. Find out about this new credit scoring program that's been proposed by the Biden administration, and also Sam McKeown in studio as well. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. When we come back, we also have our feel-good story of the day coming up later. Freddie Freeman surprises young Phillies fan after act of kindness is caught on video. And as you know, with the show, that's one of our themes here is being kind to one another and being a force for good in the community. So stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes.
The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. My wife Lindsay and I own and operate a top-ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and we rank at the top 1% of all 25,000 realtors in Tampa Bay. We're in the top 200. So we'd love to talk to you about some of our real estate listings here. 604 East Morgan Street in Brandon. This is a currently operating as a doctor's office, but it's a commercial property. Could be any type of executive style building. 604 East Morgan Street in Brandon. Great opportunity out in Brandon area, East Hillsborough County. And it's just a great property here available at $265,000. Great buying opportunity in Tampa Bay. All right, we got 801 East Palm, 803 East Palm. This is three different properties side by side, 1905 North Taliaferro as well. These are great investment opportunities, cash cow, rented out, generating lots of income right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. So you can see all of the properties side by side, close to Ybor, close to downtown. Owners motivated. 801 East Palm, 803 East Palm Avenue in Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And a quick shout out to Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, they're a first-class organization. Reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. And you can take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got William Crowley now. We're going to talk to William Crowley, the credit magician. William, the new credit scoring program, I was just watching Glenn Beck talking about that too on one of his programs, but it just seems like it's something that's not broken. Why do we need to fix it? I'm not sure on that. You're the expert.
Well, it is broken, like I've said many times before, but the government's so grossly mismanaged as it is, I don't see them taking on another project with the private sector. The private sector is not doing as well with it either, but the government's not going to do good at all with it. And I'll tell you why. Okay, we tried to create the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, prior to this idea of a public credit reporting agency.
Okay.
Now, both of these, in looking at their programs, with the public credit reporting agency, there's not a program yet. It's just verbiage right now. It's just rhetoric. If you look into it in detail, the real problem is that the credit reporting agencies are violating due process according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So if anybody wants to come aboard and correct what's going on with the credit reporting agencies, they've got to say two things. We're going to enforce the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and we're going to have an independent agency investigate these agencies, the credit reporting agencies. If we don't have an independent agency investigating, then the credit reporting agencies are going to be doing the same thing that they've been doing for years, investigating themselves. That's the biggest problem we have in correcting problems with people's credit reports, is that the credit reporting agencies are investigating themselves. So are the laws valid that we're using? Yes. The Fair Credit Reporting Act has been there since 1970. This is a consumer law that helps protect consumers address negative issues on their credit report. That, in fact, is theirs, but the credit reporting agencies haven't followed the steps according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So all of these ingenious ideals about creating the Public Credit Reporting Agency, a new scoring system, the creation of a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, if we're not addressing the Fair Credit Reporting Act and its implementation in these type of programs, what's the use? I mean, it's just like to me, it's putting a Band-Aid on a cut when I think air is the best thing for a cut. Okay? But these Band-Aid solutions are not helping at all because they're not addressing the core of the issue. The core of the issue is the enforcement of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And in order to enforce the Fair Credit Reporting Act properly, you need an independent agency investigating the credit reporting agencies, not the credit reporting agencies themselves. That's what slows things down, slows the process down for all parties. People get frustrated all the time. Hey, why is the credit reporting agency not taking this off? Or why do they keep telling me this? Or why don't they just remove it?
Yep.
Yeah, updating. And why don't they just remove it? Because they're doing it themselves, folks. Yet still, with our program, we're persistent. So with the average consumer, they'll take a law of the Fair Credit Reporting Act and they'll dispute something on the credit report with the credit reporting agency. The credit reporting agency will respond, we verified this information to be true. Then the consumer has nowhere else to go. But we say, no, that's just the beginning, because the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they have a series of laws you can use. You can only use one law at a time.
Okay.
So just remember, when the credit reporting agency is saying they verified it, we're not asking them to verify anything. We're telling them you violate the law according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, so therefore you must take this item off the credit report. There's no verification. I know it's mine.
Let me ask you this question. I got a Facebook message from one of our listeners. They're saying, how can I improve my score?
Okay. The best way to improve your score is to pull your credit report through one of the free agencies, okay? Even though the scoring is not accurate, they're going to give you an idea of your score. Look on your credit report and see if you have any blemishes, any negative information. And believe me, I know that most of the negative information that you're going to see, it does belong to you, okay? But don't let that stop you. Use the Fair Credit Reporting Act because you're going after the credit reporting agency for violation of due process. So you're going to use the Fair Credit Reporting Act to dispute any negative information on your credit report. As you're disputing and having stuff removed, your credit score is going to go up based on your existing positive information. If you don't have any positive information, as you're removing the negative, then you can start to open up new trade lines because your credit has improved by removing the negatives, but now you can start seeking new trade lines, which in turn will help your score to go up. So the first and foremost is to establish whether you have negative or blemishes on your credit report and address those first and foremost, okay? And then that'll open the door for you to have access to more credit and that you can start paying on time, which in turn will raise your score.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. All right. We'll refer that back to the gentleman that sent the message over. And yeah, those are good tips. I mean, some other tips that come to mind as well with me, especially from the real estate side, people are looking to get, they're looking to buy a home. They go to get pre-approved. And, there's blemishes on their credit. There's collections on their credit. Talk to me about collections, because sometimes paying off an old collection account will actually make your score worse, and it's kind of contrary to what you might think.
Yes, and this is another controversial subject in the industry, okay? Now, that's the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. This was created around 1976, so it's been around since the 70s as well. And the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act says that when a collector calls a consumer, you can have an option. You can either pay the debt or you can dispute the validity thereof. And I tell people, if they're giving you that option, that shows you that some type of red flag exists right there. So then dispute it. You're disputing it because the original creditor that charged the debt off, they have insurance on these accounts. So when the debt is charged off, the original creditor is no longer interested in the debt.
Right.
Then they in turn do something what I call illegal, and that is they sell the debt to collectors. When the collectors receive this debt, to take this illegal transaction and make it somewhat legal, they give you an option. They tell you to either pay the debt or dispute the validity thereof. We encourage all people that have collections that are being contacted by collectors to issue a validation of debt letter to the collector. And that's telling the collector, show me proof that the debt exists. They have no proof because the original creditor destroyed the line, the contract.
Validation of debt. All right, William Crowley, good stuff, my friend. Stay with us. More from William, more from our expert contributors coming up. Sam McKeown as well next, live and at Peace coaching on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus, our feel-good story of the day. We've got a great one here. Baseball player surprising a young fan after an act of kindness caught on video. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group. And you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rives.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rimes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a quick shout out to our friends over at Golf Cart Depot, a.k.a. Discovery Golf Cars, right here in Tampa Bay. And it seems like everyone's getting a golf car these days. They're so much fun. Lots of uses for them, business or recreation, and lots of makes and models as well available from Discovery Golf Cars. Easy Go, Star, EV, Cushman, new and pre-owned available as well. Reach out to our friends at Discovery Golf Cars. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And hot property listing for this segment. We've got a property, Gill's Body Shop, is available for sale right here in Tampa. 1602 East MLK in Tampa. It's a body shop, been in operation for 45 years, and they've got a great reputation, so they're getting a lot of business, of course, and the owners are just kind of aging out, ready to retire. 1602 East MLK, Gill's Body Shop, available for sale right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Somewhere sunny. All right, we got Sam McKeown in studio, alive and at Peace coaching, executive coach, speaker, and trainer. And I love having these conversations, because it's something that really helps. Sometimes people get caught up in a rut. They get in business and they're in personal life even, and that's what's neat about it as well. A lot of times the business rules or the business changes and coaching can actually affect your personal life, and it starts, at the root of the problem, of course, and it can translate into the business as well.
That's right. That's right. I do have to shout out to both the gentlemen prior, and that is Fred. The key to sales, the fortune's in the follow-up. If you heard that, I know you heard it in there.
That's
Fortune
right.
is in the follow-up. So Fred, that was a great gem. And then William, if you don't know what's on that credit report, you can't fix it.
That's right.
And so it's very good advice from some expert contributors there, Brandon.
Cool.
I was going through some stuff this morning. I had a meeting with our friend Thomas King at Florida Firearms Academy this morning.
Great guy.
And he told me there's a new definition for 911.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Government-sponsored dial a prayer.
Dial a prayer. There you go.
So
yeah,
I wanted to talk about 7 things that people learn too late in life. The first thing is, 1, everything is temporary. Everything's temporary, right? Number 2, life isn't always fair. And we know that, we get into situations and we think, oh my God, why did this happen to me? Well, life doesn't happen to you. You make life happen. Right? Yeah. And the third is family is everything. Now, family may not be blood.
Yeah.
Okay. We all have those people in our lives that we consider family. And so family is everything. And sometimes I wonder, I have 4 kids between my wife and I, and we are fairly conservative.
Yep.
But I have an attorney daughter.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there thinking, where did I go wrong? So she's still family, and she's coming down for my youngest granddaughter's graduation in June, so I might have that conversation. But number 4, kindness goes a long way. Just goes a long way. It doesn't matter where you're at. A smile. We're in this time of masks and stuff like that, and Pinellas County is debating the mask ordinance, I believe, as we speak.
Yep.
And so we've had to learn to show that kindness through our eyes.
Exactly.
And, and so you got to show that smile. You got to have those bright eyes, and kindness just goes a long way. Open the door for somebody. Whatever we can do each and every day. Point number 5 is a lifetime. It ain't that long.
Right.
I gave my mom a hard time years ago. She has Alzheimer's now, so she doesn't remember any of the conversations. But I told her one time, I'm going to live to be 120 years old. And she says, you won't be able to walk by that time. And,
yeah.
It's like, well, if that's the case, if I live to 120, I'm at midlife right now. So I'm in good shape.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Well, people are living longer, I guess.
They are.
What's the quality of life at that point, right?
That's true. Well, but that's one thing. If we pay attention to our physical health, and I'm not a perfect specimen, and I've done some things in my younger years, that caused me some of the issues that I have now. But I did finally get back to the gym. I'm eating better and things like that. And I believe if we change those habits, it affects everything.
That's right.
Our physical health affects just about everything we do. It affects our mental capacities and everything else. So point number 6 is the biggest risk is not taking one.
Yeah.
How many times have we been to a place where if I that's where the woulda, coulda, shouldas come in, right?
Yep.
And we all have those in our life. I remember years ago in Southwest Wyoming, had a gentleman come up to me and say, hey, there's some land for sale out north of town. And if any of y'all have been to Wyoming, that land north of town is sagebrush, sage rats, and that's it. That's all that was out there. And it was really, really cheap. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, I know this guy, and he is a little shady, but no, I'm not going to do this, right?
Yeah.
But that's where all the big houses are. That's where all the $1 million homes are in Southwest Wyoming, is right out there in that. Yeah, so shoulda, coulda, woulda, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes the biggest risk is not taking one at all. And point number 7, there's only one person responsible for your happiness, and that's you.
Yeah.
And all too often we look at our spouse, and we look at our family, and we look at our friends, we look at our jobs, but it's internal. It's all about us. We are responsible for our own happiness. And when we can remember that, remember these, if we would grab a hold of these things, life would be so much better for all of us.
Yeah, because 2 people can go to the same event, same concert, and come out of it with completely different perspectives. Oh, that was great. Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
It's up to you what you determine for every experience in life.
I know my wife will listen to this at some point in time, but we went to the Ukraine. My first time ever being out of country. Well, she grew up in Ukraine, and she was excited to be back there, and she wanted to show me everything.
Yeah.
On the first day.
Yeah.
And so
she was excited.
Oh, she was excited, and we're walking and walking and walking and walking and walking. I'm dying.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the day, it's like, I just don't want to do this anymore. But then she came across an old World War II exhibit.
Cool.
Soviet era weaponry, some of the statues and stuff like that. They don't tear down statues over there, by the way.
Yeah.
They don't tear down statues.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
And it gave me some energy, because I started thinking about some of the things my dad had talked about, and some of the, some of our U.S. Military past, the weaponry and things like that. And I'm sitting there, wow. And then the next day we went on a boat ride around the Crimea. And all I could think of is, in the 60s, the CIA would have given millions of dollars for these pictures.
Wow.
But it was, there was old submarines there was old battleships, and it was where the Soviet Union trained their, it would be our Navy SEALs.
Right.
Okay. And there were times during that trip where I'm like, oh, it's too much. I'm doing too much. But at the end of the day, at the end of the trip, it's like, you know what? Yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was great. So I made it hard on myself.
Yeah.
Fortunately for my wife, she's one of those, catch up, keep up, stay up, I'm going. So anyway, but yeah, what we make of our day is what it is. We do it ourselves.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun trip. I love going overseas. I've been overseas a couple times.
Yeah.
We're talking with Sam McKeown here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, alive and at peace coaching. So, any business owners out there, anybody thinking about reaching out, we'd love for you to reach out to the show. We'd put you in contact as well, 813-750-0550. You can call or text our hotline, 813-750-0550. He's an executive coach, speaker, and trainer. SamandRitaLive.com. SamandRitaLive.com. I want to go back to one of your points you were making here. And at some point through the 7, I wrote down habits because habits is such a key part of life. And there's an interesting study I've quoted a couple times on the show, but 2005 National Science Foundation article said that the average person has between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts per day. Of those thoughts, 80% are negative, 95% are exactly the same as the day before. So that really leads you to the whole point of our brain, the way it works is hey, we're very habitual with the way we think. And of course, the way we think creates acts and behavior, etc.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you brought that up. I just went through a study with Dr. Daniel Amen and Joseph McClendon III. These are both brain guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Joseph McClendon has this theory called STOP. So when those negative thoughts come up, we have to stop those because otherwise, you're exactly right. They're the same thoughts we had the day before. They were garbage the day before, and we're telling ourselves we're worthless.
That's right.
Real quickly, if I remember it off the top of my head, I don't have it in my notebook, but the first thing to do is you say stop. Yeah. Stop. So you have to turn your brain off. Here's an example he gave. He had a woman who was scared to death of dogs. So he had this friend who had a Rottweiler. Yeah. Who was just a big puppy. Yeah. So he brought the Rottweiler in, chained him with a big spike collar and a big chain to his desk, and gave him peanut butter. Okay. So this Rottweiler is foaming at the mouth, trying to get the peanut butter off of the top of his mouth, and the lady walks in. Of course, the Rottweiler, somebody else to play, and so the Rottweiler takes off after this lady. She screams, and what he does, Joseph McClendon, he throws a pitcher of water and does an air horn. Okay. So she stopped. He broke the habit. And that's what we have to do with our thoughts. I mean, if we can just remember to stop. Yeah. And then stop and think, is this serving me? Exactly. And then change the direction. Yeah. And it's so interesting. And those negative thoughts.
Is that the same Joseph McClendon? Sorry to interrupt. That used to do Tony Robbins events,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen him before.
Yeah. And you know how he started speaking? Tony got sick. Oh. Joseph was always in the background. Yeah. He knew everything. He'd done it. He'd been there, done there, all that stuff.
He was a volunteer.
Yes, right.
I've done that before too with Tony.
Yeah. And Tony got sick.
Hey, step up.
That was it. He stepped up. And so he's partnering with Dr. Daniel Amen, Amen Clinics.
That's great.
He's the leading researcher when it comes to brain injuries, has worked with the NFL. Do you know what the NFL's initial study for concussions was? No. They put helmets on rats, threw them downstairs, threw things at their head, and clunked them on the head with sticks. Oh, geez. That's how they started, and Roger Goodell tells Dr. Amen, well, we just don't have enough research. Well, whatever.
They don't have enough resources either, right?
Right.
One of the multi-billion-dollar companies, with their 36 teams or however many teams they have. Right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more from our expert contributors here, having a great conversation with Sam McKeown, coach, speaker, and trainer. Also, William Crowley, Fred Muth, going to have our lightning round tips, top tips, nuggets of advice. And our feel-good story of the day, Freddie Freeman surprises young Phillies fan after act of kindness caught on video. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253. Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We are to our feel-good segment of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves surprised a young Phillies fan with a signed baseball after the fan's act of kindness was caught on camera during a game in Atlanta. During the Phillies season opener loss to the Braves on Friday night, a young Phillies fan came just inches away from catching Freddie Freeman's 2-run home run. The ball fell down into the bullpen instead. After a few attempts to get it, the young fan finally wound up with the ball, and the Phillies fan came up to the ball and to a young Braves fan in a Freddie Freeman jersey. And the act of kindness by the Phillies fan also captured the eye of the guy who hit the home run. That's Freddie Freeman. And a video shared by the Braves on Sunday shows the father and son once again in the stands when Freddie walks up to Freeman himself. And Freeman spoke to the young man, shook his hand, saying that the video of the moment caught his eye, and when he gave that young man the ball, he also gave him an autographed ball by Bryce Harper and himself. So he got a pretty cool gift there, pretty cool surprise gift there, Sam. That's really neat, being at a ballpark, and kind of takes you back and having some good memories from the ballparks there.
It does, and when you see these guys who are making millions a year take the time out to do that kind of stuff for small kids, and quite frankly, they better, because they're not in the best limelight right now, especially in Atlanta.
So. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. So we love those acts of kindness here on the show, and those are kind of the theme around this show, is always helping people and doing good for people, and yeah, absolutely. What MLB did was just ridiculous. I did not agree with that, and it's basically you got a legislature that was making it easier to vote, harder to cheat, and then you got the woke corporations all jumping up and down, backed by, of course, the supreme leader, as well. So
our administration.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh. So let's talk about business. When you talk about business coaching, folks out there, what do you see as like the number one, kind of holdback? People are saying, hey, I thought about coaching. I may not do, I'm thinking about doing it right now, but I'm just not ready to make that leap. What can we say to convince them?
Where would you be 6 months from now if we don't start today?
Right.
6 months from now, will you be in the same spot? And if you'll be in the same spot, then you need to hire me.
Right. Same spot or worse, potentially.
Worse, potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to put the worst part in there, but if I have to do some twisting, I will. But that's what most people, they're looking at today, and they look at the bank balance today.
Yeah.
Well, if the bank balance today and the bank balance 6 months from now are the same,
right,
and you haven't shown an increase in business, you should have hired a coach 6 months ago.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, coaching it, you look at all the best athletes, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan. I memean, they all had a coach. Yep. They had coaches. There's a lot of real estate agents that are doing multi-million dollars in volume. They've got coaches. Yeah. You look at those because what it comes back to is modeling, right?
Right.
So if you're modeling the best and you're modeling what works, and then an outsider's perspective also comes into play.
John Wooden said, a good coach will change a game. A great coach will change a life.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, he was. I grew up on the East Coast, and all those wins at UCLA, just kind of, you're kind of like, but
unbelievable.
He was unbelievable.
How many was it? Like 10 championships in a row, 12 or something?
Yeah, it was insane,
unbelievable.
But that folks don't think about it. They don't think about all the great great folks have coach. All great businesses have coaches.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. I don't agree with their politics, but they all have people coaching them.
Yep, that's right.
So
exactly,
it's tough. Sometimes it's a tough sell. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it can be. But people that have that self awakening, especially when you have some type of an event. It seems like in life, people, whether it's on a personal level or even a business, there has to be some kind of a pain event to come in, right?
Right. And that's true on the financial side of it. When I'm coaching on that side of it, it's a job loss. It's, I just used my entire emergency fund. I got divorced. And that's when the coaching on the financial side comes in. Of course, by the time they get to me on the coaching side, they're broke.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have established a nonprofit for that. But yeah, it is. It's a major life event. It's a partnership fell apart or whatever, and then they start looking out.
All right, perfect timing for our lightning round here.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
All right, Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Got any tips for us, sir?
Yeah, put Sam back on, man. His philosophy was beautiful. I'm going to be walking around every 15 minutes. I'm going to yell "stop," and somebody's going to look at me and say, "I'm going to say, talk to this guy Sam. He'll explain." Yeah. Very good, Sam. I was enjoying that. I wish Brandon didn't cut you off and put me back on. I was really enjoying your program. Same old story. I tell everybody in the homeowners, no matter what you're bidding, whatever project it is. Ask a lot of questions. I highly recommend that. Even after the contract is signed, continue to ask the questions. Make sure that you're clear on exactly what's going to go on your project. That's helpful for everybody who's part of the equation. That's helpful for the salesman. That's helpful for the homeowner, obviously. It's helpful for those who oversee the job, the installers. It's a very good idea to continue to ask questions. And when I go to a project, I try to keep it as simple as possible, but just get the most basic information to the customer, and then I ask them to ask the questions, and they generally pepper me with a lot of questions. And that way, when I leave that project, I know that we covered everything, because there's nothing worse in the construction business than a big surprise or even a little surprise on the back end. That
Absolutely.
hurts everybody. I did one the other day. This is kudos to your show, Brandon, by the way. I did one the other day, and I complicated it a little bit. They signed the contract. Next day, they canceled. And they said to me, "We don't like what you said about this and how this is going to be a problem." I go, "Okay, they're going with somebody else." I said, "Just ask the other guy what he's going to do with that project." They called me 2 days later and said, "I want to go back with you for 2 reasons. Number one, the other guy couldn't answer the question. Number two, we heard you on the radio. Sounds like you know what you're talking about." So
nice.
Kudos. Thank you to the radio show.
I like that. Love it.
Do I come off like that?
Hey, you come off as a great personality, my friend, and just I love the educational, consultative approach that you have. That's the key.
Well, thanks, Brandon. I'll send the check right over.
William Crowley, top tips, my friend.
Fred, you're a mess. Hey, Sam, that was great information. We are responsible for our own happiness, and you're also responsible for your own credit. Think about where you're going to be 6 months from now if you don't get with me now, okay? We're here to help people to understand their credit and to help you legally improve it. And if you don't, we got a money-back guarantee.
Nice. All right. Nice. William Crowley, the credit magician, credit restoration expert, and the money-back guarantee as well. And Sam, back to you. Top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom.
Never be the smartest person in the room.
There you go. That's a classic right there.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy doing the show. I know I'm not the smartest person in the room.
Well, it's true. You always hear like the different versions of that too. You're a reflection of the top 5 people.
Top 5.
Mm-hmm. You hear that all the time, and it kind of leads you back to thinking about, today we live in one of the greatest times in the history of the planet.
Yep.
And we got challenges. We've got polarization in politics. We got different things happening, geopolitical. But if you really look at it as far as a entrepreneur, what a great time to be alive, because you can access the best of any field online. You can go online,
yes.
find videos, find resources, and then just sharpen the saw.
Yes. Oh yeah, sharpen the saw, and iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
And there are some folks that I work with that I am diametrically opposed to.
Right.
But we know how to talk about today's subjects.
Yes.
And we may be complete opposites, but we do know how to talk about the things that people don't talk about: religion, politics, and religion and politics are two
money,
biggest, and then money.
Yeah, different. Yeah.
And we have differences of opinions, but we've learned how to talk about them.
Yes.
And that's
right.
what folks aren't doing today.
That's the key. Yep. Even if you don't agree with the other person, at least hear them and try to understand where they're coming from. Yeah. That's such a key part. Hey, another great show. Excellent lineup. Great show. Great content. Thanks so much, everyone, for hanging out with us. Visit consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you.